Santa Claus doesn't have to wake up and read that Matthew Perry died from a ketamine overdose in his hot tub. Santa doesn't have to read that with Miss Claus while they have breakfast. They have, I don't know what they'd eat for breakfast, a porridge or an oatmeal, but Santa doesn't have to say, ho, 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 get me some oatmeal. How did Matthew Perry die? Oh, it was a ketamine overdose in his hot tub, Miss Claus. And then Miss Claus goes, well, a lot of the elves have been going for that ketamine therapy to kind of relive their past traumas and try to get to the other side of them. And he goes, well, that just seems like they're using drugs. Matthew Perry died in his hot tub from ketamine. And Santa doesn't have to live it because he's gone. There is no Santa Claus. And if there was, he'd be aghast at what's going on right now. He would have assumed, much like I did, that because Matthew Perry had a drug addiction for a very long time. And it ate away a lot of his liver. I think he was doing like 46 Vicodin a day. That's what I thought it was. I just thought it was just one of those things. Unfortunately, it's not one of those things. It was a ketamine overdose in his hot tub, which sucks. Well, Vicodin. He was using Vicodin. He was taking up to 55 Vicodin a day. And that does a number on your liver. That's what I thought it was, but it was an overdose of ketamine. Ketamine is the new it drug in Hollywood, like Ozempic. Ozempic is the shot you take to make you less fat. Ketamine is something else. It's a drug, which I used to do when I was doing drugs. We called it Special K. We did it with ecstasy, which is now called Molly. But it's a drug that is supposed to realign the pathways in your brain, and everyone here is always doing that. They're always realigning the pathways in their brain. They're taking ayahuasca. They're on ketamine all the time. This is everyone in LA that you speak to. They go, I have to realign my neural pathways because reality is too bleak. That's really what it comes. They go, I can't deal with the reality of what's going on. I need my brain. This is going to be tough. The beard.
Breathing in hair.
It's hard to breathe with the beard on because I have a Santa beard on. How did I used to do this. I was a Santa who tried to sign people up for Obamacare.
No way.
Years ago. This is true. I was a Santa. Breathe into my fucking God. I have this cold sore. That's also why this kind of is nice to have. I was a Santa who signed people up for Obamacare. I would go into bad neighborhoods and I would sign poor, low-income people up for Obamacare, dressed as Santa Claus. And it was a job that I did. And it was a job that I did to supplement the money while I was earning money to learn how to be a stand-up comedian. And it was not a bad gig. It was not a great gig because you would be in bad areas and poor people are very depressing around the holidays. It's true. They're always getting shot or whatever. I mean, they're depressing people over the holidays. Holidays are really for, it's better to have rich people or rich family and friends over the holidays because holidays are for them. Like the poor people are always getting shot or sick or they're working shifts and they're complaining all the time. And that's not, it's neither here nor there, but that's why the job was tough because they would always say, rich people around the holidays, they're just wearing coats and going to church and having these feasts. So when I was a Santa in a poor neighborhood and I was poor and everybody I'm talking to is poor, nobody's happy. We're all broke. They're asking me questions about healthcare. I didn't sign up for Obama. I don't know what's going on. I'm just sitting in a truck dressed as Santa. And they're telling me about problems that they have. I have problems. It wasn't a good time in my life. But I can't even remember. I'm like, how did I fucking do this? With the beard, it's terrible. It really irritates you. At one time, and I talked about this on the pod, I did it at a Spanish chicken restaurant. I don't know where it was. It was on Long Island. And there was a big chicken and Santa. Mm-hmm. They had a big chicken, and everybody wanted photos with me. Nobody wanted photos with the chicken. The chicken was dressed like a chicken. He was very upset about that. He was also signing up people for Obamacare. What the government did to get... No, but it's all true. What the government did to get low-income people into Obamacare was they sent out like characters, whether it was like me as Santa or a chicken or like the Kool-Aid guy. They sent them out into the streets. I'm not even kidding. You can look this up, and it's probably not a bad idea. They sent like characters out they sent out like SpongeBob to try to get people to sign up for Obamacare because, people don't like doctors, right? They get creeped out by doctors. They're creeped out by people that are wearing suits. But like if Clifford the Big Red Dog or SpongeBob or, I don't know, Paw Patrol goes out and goes, hey, do you want health insurance? You might be more amenable to it. I don't know. But that was like a strategy that they had. Back to Matthew Perry. I gotta take this beard off. It's the cold sore is not that bad. I can't deal with this hurting my face to a point where I can't even deal with it. Matthew Perry, R.I.P., very sad. We obviously do not, we're not making light of his death, but here's what we were saying about this ketamine, because everybody's doing this now. And I, as somebody who is a ex-addict, I think maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe it's not a good idea, but maybe it is. I don't know, but a lot of people are taking ketamine under the supervision of a doctor. They're going to a clinic, and I don't know, I guess this can help with PTSD. Yeah. For people that have come back from war. But it seems to be abused. People seem to be abusing it. Like I know a lot of people who do it, and I go, the last thing you need to do is go and get shot up with ketamine in a clinic. You need something else. You don't need to do ketamine in a clinic. That's not what it's for. Ayahuasca is not for you having a better career. That's not what it's for. That's not what the Incans intended. That's not what the Mayans, whoever I don't even care or know. The ancient cultures that used ayahuasca as a spiritual experience were not intending it to be used so that you could figure out how to get on Netflix. There's no way. There's no possible way. That's the intention of ayahuasca. There's no way. There's no way that you were supposed to go into hyperspace and ask the aliens, the entities, or for career advice. There's no way. It's all been completely perverted by people that are in this town want to just figure out how to make life more about themselves, as if it's not already about them. They want to make it more about themselves somehow. Somehow, some way, they go, enough of life, it isn't about me. Let me really focus. Let me take 3 days. Let me go to Peru. Let me vomit. And let me realize that all my fears are they're not real. They're holding me back. And listen, again, this would be great if the end goal wasn't to, snag a roll on Ginny in Georgia. Like, if you were really evolving as a human being, you would leave. You would move. You would leave. If ayahuasca worked, you'd come back to LA, walk into your house, burn it down, light it on fire and leave the state forever if ayahuasca were. But whatever professional grade ayahuasca, and I don't know who these shamans are, these con artists that are calling themselves shamans. People are drinking this stuff every 3 weeks. They're on ayahuasca, and they're more fucked than they've ever been on ayahuasca. I don't get it. And now people are dropping dead in their hot tubs of ketamine. Everyone's like, no, it's good. It rewires the neural pathways in the brain. And because it's a lot to take. It's a lot to take when all of the big studios go, we want a future without humans. We want a post-human future. It's a lot to take. People go, fuck, I got to take some ayahuasca to handle that. I got to take a little ketamine to handle that. So that's what the studios did. They just said, hey, I talked to some of these people during this strike, and they were very clear about what they want. They want a post-human future on Earth. That's all they want. They're very clear about it. They want a post-human future on Earth. That's what they want. That's what they want. They don't want human beings anymore. And that's tough to hear because everybody's having the wrong fight. Everybody's like, you're paying me $30. I want $35. It's like, no. We don't want you to exist. We want you gone. We want you out. We want to do things completely AI generated. We don't want you at all. It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. That's why everybody's got to go take ayahuasca. They got to do ketamine. One of these writers, a guy at the Hollywood Reporter, went to do ketamine and flipped out, which is it's kind of a funny article. Mm-hmm. When ketamine therapy visit goes horribly wrong. So what this guy did, and this guy sounds kind of like a pussy who can't handle his drugs. Now, that doesn't mean that this ketamine fad is good. I know a lot of people that are doing this. Ain't not a one of them in a place mentally that you should be. Ain't not a one. Not a one of those people walking around doing ketamine that I know, and the tens of dozens of people I know doing ketamine are in a good place. All the time. I sought help from a ketamine clinic like Matthew Perry. Odd way to start. It's an interesting way to start the article, huh? I sought help from a ketamine clinic like Matthew Perry. Things went wrong. What happened was the scariest experience of my life. Here's what happened. The guy goes in the room. Listen to this. I was probably always going to get around to trying ketamine therapy, which I did 2 years ago. I had read all the things, how the animal tranquilizer and party drug can work wonders for treatment-resistant depression, how it can reset your brain. There it is again. How ketamine's unique dissociative effect allows the user to take a step back, get off their hamster wheel of ego-driven thinking. By the way, everyone I know on this stuff, they're the most egomaniacal people I've ever met in my life. All of the people on this, by the way, without exception, it's completely about all the time about them. Everybody I know who does this stuff never starts a sentence with any other except I. All of them. So I love this idea that we're trying to get rid of your ego with this. In LA, that's where we're trying to get rid of the ego? Is that why these people are doing all of this? Because their ego, they want to get rid of their ego? No, they want to help themselves get more things somehow. They think this leads to them getting more famous. That's why they're doing it, because they want to get out of their own way, because people keep telling them, hey, man, everyone hates you. You come into the Christmas party drunk. You try to fuck someone's wife. You're not focused. You suck. And that's why you're not succeeding. You should do ketamine and figure out why you act like an asshole all the time. So that's the group of people that are doing this. The people are like, yeah, can you do ketamine and stop trying to fuck my wife all the time, you scumbag? And they go, I got to reset my brain because everyone's telling me I got to reset my brain. I have to stop doing coke and trying to rape children in L.A. So they go, I'm going to go get ketamine treatment. So listen, I showed up for my appointment, filled out forms, signed a waiver, and was ushered to a small dim room with blinds on the windows. The room's centerpiece was a cushy faux leather recliner that faced an LED TV that was mounted high on the wall. Next to the chair was an IV stand. The technician was a young woman. Let's call her Sarah. It was unclear if she had any medical credentials. I'll stop you there, buddy. She didn't, probably. But she had this, I'm just going through the motions. Do you want to order any appetizers? Casualness made me think not. So she's basically the ketamine waitress. And so she gives him ketamine and he goes, I felt confused. Why was I here again? I started to feel like I wasn't entirely in the room, or was I in the room? And then I wasn't. Did she give me the drug already? So he flips out. He has a bad trip, if you want to call it that. He's doesn't know what's going on. It's unfortunate. He gets paranoid. The room was gone. I was gone. Typically, when you take a drug, you experience reality differently. You feel good or bad. And what you're seeing might not be accurate, but you were still you. You know, this was different. I was unconscious, technically, but in a void. It's a K-hole. It's a K-hole. I've been in a K-hole. I was 14. You're in a K. You're doing drugs. What's wrong with these people? You're doing drugs. These crazy people. People are taking kratom now. Like, you put heroin in a smoothie. It's heroin still. You're doing drugs. I don't understand what these people think's going to happen. Because a nurse gives it to you. They killed Michael Jackson. They kill all of these people. They will give you anything you want. If you have the money, they'll give you anything you want. They don't know if you need this therapy or not. They don't care. You're doing drugs. And listen, I'm not a moralist in this regard. I don't think you should hurt other people. But if you get, something out of this positively, great. But it's a drug. People get to all kinds of altered states of consciousness, all kinds of ways. Fasting, meditation, all kinds of other ways. This is the shortcut. You're pulling up in a valley, in a strip mall. You're sitting down. You're getting an IV while you're in a lazy boy. That's a shortcut to the altered states of reality you're trying to get to. It's a drug. All these people are like, I had no idea what's going on. I just sat down and they shot me up with a drug and then I was high. What's that? This was such a disassociative state that I was disassociated from everything that I ever knew existed. I was in space, but not outer space. But what horrible, by the way, what horrible writing. What terrible writing. I was in space, but not outer space. Nothing so neatly familiar as that. There were colors, jungle greens and browns. Well, that's what he doesn't like, the browns. Jungle greens and browns. Hey, watch out, buddy. I think the drug's starting to work. You're getting a little honest. All these jungle people. I didn't know what was going on. There was that horrid noise, that blurring Matrix phone. I had taken a fistful of red pill. It's so bad. The writing, this article is so terrible. It's so terrible. I don't know if I even believe this person did it. I don't know. But this is what my recurring thought was, I'm dead and this is hell forever. That's everybody that has a bad trip. It's so cliche. It's such a cliche. This is like anyone who read any of those bad trip reports and wrote about them and just took this. I was in that room for about 90 minutes, but that feels like lying because I know I was in that void for days. See, this is like, I don't even know if this happened. Like, I don't even know if this happened or if this person just took all these bad trip reports. There used to be this website. I forget what it was called, but it was a website and people used to write about their experiences with drugs. Don't look for it. It doesn't matter. People will know who are listening to the show what it was. And people would write about their experiences with DMT or other drugs. And all of these are the most cliche things to say. And that might be the case that they just happen so frequently to people that they all describe them the same way. I don't know. But this idea that like ketamine therapy is going to help all the people that want it is crazy. It's crazy. It's not true. It's a drug. And it might work for you. And listen, psychedelic therapies might be good. There's a lot of evidence that these things are going to help, right? Military people, I'm not discounting all of this stuff. I'm just going always, the only thing I can do is talk about personal experience. All I can do is talk about the scores of people I know in Los Angeles on these things. And people claim that there's benefits, but then I know a lot of these people and it doesn't seem that beneficial. So then they contacted them. They go, you need more ketamine. You should come back. You should come back. And can anyone get this? Can I just go in? Can anyone go in and get ketamine therapy? Do you need a note from your doctor? Do you need a note?
No.
You don't need a note.
No, you just...
I don't even need a note. I could just go in and get ketamine shot up.
Yeah, K-hole, yeah.
I could just go do that.
Yeah.
That's what we're at.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Okay, sure. I mean, listen, people are going to get mad at me for this. This is when I told people not to smoke pot in their 30s. It was the most controversial episode I ever did. People were so angry. I said, marijuana is for your teenage years. As you get older, you should use it very sparingly. And people got so angry with me. And they boiled over in a rage, as people often do when I'm right, which I usually am. And I feel the same way about this shit. It's like, are the people that really, are they utilizing it in an appropriate way? Are these people, is this being utilized in an appropriate way? Or are a lot of people going in there with no clue what's going on and leaving with somehow less of a clue of what's going on? And listen, I get it. People are happy, and ketamine, it is a therapy, and some people like it, but you're going into a K-hole for drugs. It's what it is. You're disconnecting from the world with a drug. Now, maybe it can treat other things, and it might be able to. But it's just fun. There's this. It's not like the idea per se is wrong. It's the application of it. The application that anyone can just walk in a room and do ketamine, and then as much as they want, and then follow their own plan, seems stupid. It seems pretty dumb.